Noah's Ark, a masterpiece built by faith. There are stories you cannot simply read with your eyes. You have to feel them with your heart. And the story of Noah's Ark is not just a story about wood, about water, or about rain. It is a story about faith, about obedience, and about a world that was saved because one man dared to trust God more than himself. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine. God speaks to you. Build a massive ark. Prepare yourself, for a great flood is coming. From that single command, one of the greatest constructions in human history began, built with timber, sweat, and absolute faith. Today, let us look back at how Noah could build such an enormous vessel with only primitive tools in a world that had never seen rain. The ark's size, 137 meters long, 23 meters wide, 3 complete decks. This was not the blueprint of an architect or an engineer. It was the exact measurement God Himself gave to Noah. First, he found the place to build the ark. Noah looked across the land before him. No sea, no great river, just a dry valley where the ground was damp with morning mist. No one could imagine constructing something longer than a football field in a place like that. No maps, no surveyors, only the natural instincts of ancient man guided by God. He had to uproot trees, level the ground, break stones, compact the soil, all with crude tools. And he had to do it in a world where the earth was always moist, just as Scripture says, a mist went up from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. To keep the soil from turning into mud, Noah dug natural drainage trenches around the site. People walked by and laughed at him. But he wasn't building by human logic, he was building by God's command. If God said, "Build it here," then this was exactly where the ark would rise. No one understood what he was doing. People mocked, people ridiculed. But the mockery of man could never outweigh the guidance of God. Then God said, "Make the ark of Gopherwood." These were huge trees, heavy, dense, and durable. Cutting one down was no easy task. No chainsaws, no metal pulleys. In the forest, the sound of Noah's axe echoed like the heartbeat of a sacred project. Every tree that fell was a response to God's call. Every callus on his hands, every drop of sweat, was his way of saying, "Lord, I trust you." Noah and his sons used ancient methods once used to move giant stone statues. Small logs placed underneath large logs like rollers. They pushed, pulled, and shifted the rollers inch by inch. Tons of wood moved only a few meters at a time. Just wooden rollers and persistence no human reason could explain. But every meter moved was one step closer to God's promise. To support a 137-meter vessel, a massive keel beam was needed. No tree was long enough, so Noah had to join several massive beams into one continuous piece. He used ancient woodworking techniques, mortise and tenon joints, hardwood pegs, locking joints, until finally the longest beam was laid on the ground, the keel, the spine of the entire ark. This was no ordinary beam. It was the beginning of a miracle. When Noah placed his hand on it, he knew he wasn't just building a boat, he was building humanity's final refuge. The curved ribs of the ark had to be raised and aligned precisely. A small misalignment could destabilize the entire structure. Noah used thick ropes, long levers, wooden stakes, and tension lines to maintain straightness. Slowly, rib after rib was lifted into place, until the massive shape of the ark rose in a land that had never seen the sea. It towered so high that its shadow stretched across the ground like a wooden mountain. Passers-by shook their heads. There is no flood, there is no rain. But Noah didn't look at them. He looked only to heaven. God commanded, cover it inside and out with pitch. Pitch, a natural tar, had to be heated, thickened, and applied to every seam. Hot pitch smoked, filling the air with a heavy scent. Noah and his sons coated every gap, every joint. Outside to keep water out, inside to preserve life. When the final layer dried, the ark looked as if it was wrapped in armor, a floating fortress prepared for something no one believed would ever happen. Inside was an entirely different world. Scripture says, "You shall make rooms in the ark." The ark was like a floating city, 3 decks, countless compartments like nests, ventilation corridors, food storage areas, a simple waste system. Light entered only from a single high window. For balance, bottom deck for the heavy and large animals, middle deck for medium-sized animals, top deck for birds and small creatures. Everything arranged intentionally to keep stability during the coming storm. No one had ever built anything like this, but Noah built because God commanded it. The door had to be huge, yet strong enough not to break, larger than anything he had ever constructed. No metal hinges, so Noah built a massive wooden pivot. And then the destined day arrived. Something supernatural happened. Animals came calmly, orderly, as if an invisible hand guided each pair into place. No chaos, no attacks, no confusion. When everything and everyone was inside and Noah's family entered, Scripture says, "Then the Lord shut him in." Noah may have built the ark, but God sealed it. When that door closed, every chance to change was gone. Then the sky darkened, the winds shifted, and the first drop of rain fell. 1 drop, 2 drops, then a rain like the world had never seen. The ground split open and water surged upward. The heavens opened and poured downward. Rain hammered the ark like the drumbeat of judgment. The ark trembled, then lifted off the ground. The outside world drowned in chaos. Inside the ark, life survived. The ark floated in an ocean of judgment. Outside, roaring water, collapsing mountains, howling winds. Inside, the breath of humanity and living creatures. In the darkness, Noah touched the inner wall. He could see nothing, but he knew God was holding everything together. After 40 days, the rain stopped, but the waters rose for another 150 days. Day after day, night after night, the ark drifted like a lonely island, with no direction, no certainty, only the faith that the same hand that brought them in would bring them out. Finally, Scripture says, God remembered Noah, and that was enough for the flood and the storm to cease. A wind blew across the earth, the waters receded, the ark gently touched the mountains of Ararat. Noah released a raven, then a dove. When the dove returned with a fresh olive leaf, the earth was finally dry. A heart that had waited so long felt like it could burst. God said, "Come out of the ark." The same door he once closed, he now opened. Light poured in. Noah's family stepped on dry ground after more than a year. The animals spread out over the earth. The first thing Noah did was build an altar, a place to say, "I am here because of you." God received the offering and promised, "Never again will I destroy all life by water." And he placed the rainbow, the sign of his eternal covenant. Not just an ark, not just a flood. From that ark, humanity began anew, a new beginning, born from one man's faith. If this story touches you, it is not because it is ancient, but because God is still speaking to us through every plank of wood, every drop of rain, and every promise he has never forgotten.
Please click like and subscribe to my channel for the new, interesting stories. Thank you so much.